Walking down the toy aisle and seeing Lego sets priced at hundreds of dollars can be alarming. Is Lego actually more expensive than 10 or 20 years ago? And a price per piece of 11 cents. That's just 1 cent higher. And adjusted for inflation, it's actually 1 cent lower.
As a lover of Legos, there's two things that I've realized as I've gotten older. Number one, my parents buying my sets versus me buying my sets are two different things. And number two, there has been a giant price boom in terms of Legos, and it has deterred a lot of people from jumping into the hobby. Today, we will be discussing why Legos have become so expensive in the last several years and what we as a community can do about it. And if you stay tuned into this video, I will be providing some resources on how you can better afford Legos for as cheap as possible. For those who don't know me, my name is Isaiah Barlow, and this is my Lego room, my video diary of all things Legos, from opinions to Lego reviews and sets. And if you like this type of content, please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell notification for all my new videos. A comment I almost always get is, how can I find a good Lego set for cheap, right? Now that has two parts, good and cheap. Good can be variable. I might think something is good and you might not think it's good. So it depends on your taste, and I always start there. What do you like in terms of your regular daily lives? You like cars, Star Wars, etc. So good can be really interchangeable. But one thing we can all agree on is the word cheap. Now, cheap right now for Lego can be really hard to find. Upon recording this video, a good set that I would consider is pretty much challenging, that you also enjoy, is going to run you between $50 and $100. And that's not that bad of pricing if you want one set a year. And most people who want to jump into this hobby want between 1 and 3 sets a month. And not all of those sets are going to be between $50 and $100. That's just wishful thinking. Some might be $150 to $200 to maybe $250. So at this point, that is not cheap at all. And that leads us into our topic of the day. Why are Legos so expensive? Now, I do want to leave a link to the Business Insider small documentary on why Legos are so expensive. It's about 20 plus minutes long. Really good video. It dives into a lot of reasons why Lego is more expensive right now. But one issue that I don't think it touched on deep enough was the issue of resellers. Now, if you don't understand the concept of resellers, it's just people who want to buy something at retail and then sell it for a higher price at a later date. And if I'm being honest, I don't have very many issues with resellers. I think it's okay and pretty smart to maybe buy an extra set or two to hold on to yourself for the future, to maybe make a profit, especially if you think that set is timeless. It might, be like an item that's luxury later on, and maybe it can be hard to find. I don't think it's a wrong thing to resell. I want to be very clear on that. However, not every reseller is the same and does not operate with a sense of integrity. Right now, we do have a social media era where we live in, where hustler culture and side income is a thing to promote. And one of those main side incomes is reselling hobbies or knickknacks like Lego itself. Now, it's one thing when there's one person who's a Lego lover that maybe collects a lot of sets that ends up selling them off on a later date or holds them on for themselves because they actually love the community that they're inside. But some of these resellers are people who don't love Lego at all and don't have a care for Lego, and they just buy up a lot of the inventory to sell at a later date. And this can be due to them having more capital in their pocket, so they can buy 1,000 plus sets at one time and control the market of how many people can actually get a set for retail. And of course, one of the main problems is they do not have an interest in Lego. So they're not buying it because they love the craft or they love the community. They're just buying it to make a quick buck off of people like us. But now we have to pay about $50 to $100 over the retail price, and that's just not fair. So of course, this in turn can discourage us as people to want to save or buy for a set when we can't find it in store, we can't find it on lego.com, and the only place we can find it is maybe on StockX or another reselling site like eBay, where it's super expensive for this set that should have been a different price because somebody bought it all up. Now, this isn't supposed to be a morbid video. There is a solution, and this is a free resource. You don't have to pay anything to have this resource. It's available to you today, and I personally use it to price out and find the right set price for myself when it comes to sets I can't find on a regular Lego site or maybe on Amazon or etc. I, of course, am referring to bricklink.com. Bricklink.com is a Lego vendor online site that has a lot of retired sets or sets that you can't find for great prices. And if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me if I'm wrong, I believe it is an official Lego vendor. Now, as I was writing this video out, it did sound like a sponsored ad, but I want to let you guys know I am not sponsored by Bricklink at all. I would love for them to sponsor me, please do, but I'm not sponsored by them at all. This is actually something I regularly use. I love it, and I would love to share it with you guys. Bricklink has thousands of sellers on their website with different prices of each set that you might be looking for, and they pretty much have every Lego set you can find. And if you're looking for a set that you cannot find online right now, and you see it on eBay for maybe a crazy price, or StockX, or wherever these reseller sites are, go to Bricklink first. You can check on the website the price and the average of how much it's selling for, and then make a smart business decision for yourself on how much money you want to spend. One of the best things about Bricklink is that there's thousands of sellers selling new, used, unopened, sealed, like it was factory made right out of Target sets for a great price, and you don't have to worry about the hustle and bustle of, is it a good seller, is it bad, is it fake, whatever. All Bricklink does is authorize Lego sales. But I would also just use it to compare prices. If you see something on Amazon or eBay that somebody's reselling that item for, you can really compare the price on Bricklink to what's being sold on Amazon. And then, like I said, make a smart business decision for yourself and how much money you're actually spending on a set that might be retired or you can't find right now. Most people are looking in the wrong places to find Legos, and this is one of the most trusted sites and online vendors you can find for a Lego set that you're trying to get for a great price. Now, let's say that you found the set you want, you went on Bricklink, you compared the prices, but you still do not have the money for the set right now. You're probably itching to buy that set, but you just don't have it at the current moment. I get it. And a lot of you guys might be a little bit younger. You might not have exactly the full job that you want right now, or maybe all the income that you want right now. So with that being said, let me give you guys 3 little easy tips on how I used to save for something in high school called sneakers. Now, before I started this channel, I actually had a sneaker channel called Isaiah BTV, previous called A Common Hype Beast. And I went to college, so I wasn't able to like really keep up with the YouTube scene when it came to my sneaker stuff. But when I was in high school starting the channel, I had to learn how to afford shoes better. And I was working at Chick-fil-A, just a small little job. I was getting about like maybe 400 to 600 bucks every 2 weeks in my check. So I wasn't really making the most money, but I was still able to buy as many shoes as I could. And these are 3 steps I did to do that. And you can do the same with your Lego sets. So let's do it right now. So the first thing you really want to do is scout out what set is coming out in the next month or 2, or maybe 3 months that you want to purchase. Now, the reason why you're doing this is because you want to figure out how much that set actually is. Most Lego sets take a minute to retire. So sometimes the Lego set that you're looking for that's on the market right now is not going to retire anytime soon. So you can actually just start saving the money. But if it's a Lego set that has not came out yet, you have a little bit of time to save your money. So that way on the day of release, you're able to go purchase that set and not feel like you're breaking the bank. So what I would do is go online, check out the Lego sets that are coming out in the next several months or maybe the next month to figure out what sets you're looking for and what the retail price will be, and write that down and keep it in mind because you're going to need to know that for the next step. Now, the next thing you want to do is save for that Lego set. Now, what I used to do for my sneakers is I would be on sneakersnews.com figuring out what date a Jordan was coming out, and let's say it came out in exactly 3 months. And I would be like, okay, it comes out in 3 months and it's going to retail for about $200. Cool, sounds great to me. I knew that working at Chick-fil-A, I was going to get 2 checks in 1 month. And I also knew that my average check size was going to be about between $400 to $600. Let's just split in the middle and say 500 bucks. I knew that if I do $50 from one check and $50 from another check in the same month, that's 100 bucks. If I did another month, it's going to be 200 bucks. And then I would only have to need like maybe $25 for maybe the taxes when it came to me purchasing the shoe when it dropped on release day. And this is very easy to do because I figured out how much the sneaker was when it was coming out, gave myself enough time so I could save up money for that set without breaking the bank. And that way I could keep more money in my checks, have a little bit of money on the saving side, money saved for what I wanted. And that way I could buy the pair of sneakers I wanted. And then you can do the exact same thing with your Lego sets. Figure out how much that retail price is going to be. Give yourself some time to save for it, right? Don't find a set that's coming out in November. You might not have the money already for it right then, but find a set that's coming out maybe in January or maybe in February that you're going to be interested in buying, and then say, let me save a little money here and there for my little Lego budget. So that way when the set comes out, I'm there, I'm ready on the Lego site to purchase it, and I'm not feeling like I'm breaking the bank because I already saved for it and I was ready for this thing. And the third and final step I want to give you guys, if a set is just too expensive for you to buy right now, or in the next 2 or 6 months, it just doesn't make any financial sense for you to buy that set, my last and final tip to tell you guys is to go rob a bank. That is a complete joke. Do not do that. But I will say, try to find alternative sets. Right now, Lego is doing something that I've really enjoyed, which is they're like making smaller scale size sets of bigger sets that are very, very iconic and coveted. Example of this is the Millennium Falcon. The Millennium Falcon sits about $850, a very hefty price. And to be honest with you, after taxes, you're almost looking at $1,000 for a Lego set that you might not finish in a week or two or maybe three. What Lego has done now, which I really appreciate, is they've created smaller scaled down sets that people can enjoy, put on their nightstand, and just have as a display piece for much cheaper. There are two smaller Millennium Falcon sets. One's like 20 bucks and the other one's like $85. Both great sets, both look amazing, and you don't have to necessarily break the bank to buy those sets. And there's also an R2-D2 set that's like the anniversary edition that's like $240, but they made another R2-D2 set that's only 100 bucks. You're saving $140, and that's a big difference when it comes to saving your money. The point is, you don't have to buy the full big set for you to be satisfied. You can get a different set for much cheaper and actually enjoy it and actually be able to place it somewhere, because I'm not sure if you guys seen how big the Millennium Falcon is. It is very big. You need like a area to display that, and most people might not have that area. In conclusion, Lego is one of the greatest hobbies and communities I've ever been in my entire life. I always enjoy being inside of the Lego community, and that community should not be hindered by prices and resellers trying to make a quick buck who don't enjoy the community themselves. And hopefully today, these resources and tips that I've given you might help you really budget your way into buying the set you want or finding it for a better price than the resellers online. I love this Lego community, and I would love for you guys to be in this community with me. So let me know in the comment section below what Lego sets you guys will be purchasing next. Make sure you like, and of course, like I said, comment and subscribe and hit the bell notification for all my new videos. My name is Isaiah Barlow, and thank you guys again for watching. Peace.